Hello, this is Dee Dryden, and this is Reflections of Faith. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. And this is Valentine's Day. So I want to wish you all happy Valentine's Day and the 14th of February 2015. So I just want to catch you up on what we're doing with the house on this day. The boys are gone. They're getting groceries for another week in this home. After that, we will have been gone. On Tuesday, we're meeting with the lawyer and the buyer, and of course, the check will be wrote. And by the 1st of March, the young lady that bought this home is going to take it over then. And I blessed this home, and I also blessed the buyer who is buying it to have the money to pay for it. And of course, her father came through with that, and so she's excited. She right at the moment, from what I've understood, lives in an RV, and so we're glad to have her in this nice warm home where she can start out her new life. And so I'm really excited for her. The realtor that we had is coming down to get her signs, and she's been really good. I called her and thanked her for everything that she did to help us with this, and the minute we dropped her and took her off, my youngest son put it at $80,000, and of course within 24 hours it sold, which is great. Just good. We all work together, and every time we work together, change for some people is sometimes, causes stress, but I actually like it. But I'm hoping that when I get to Montana that I can then retire and just live out my life and not travel so much except for doing conferences and whatnot, because I want to do more videos on this. I'm also ordering a new printer and a new computer and a new camera that you can wear on your head or your belt or wherever, and an arm that goes out just like they do those cameras. And so that's what my fun money is going to be. But that's not actually fun money, because it's going to assist me in writing my books. And that's what I've been wanting to do, is give God glory for all of the things that He's done. And I've journaled that since the year 2000 of all the stuff that He's done in my life. And so I want the people to see what He does, and that He does exist. And there are so many stories that need to be told in my life. I think there are people that have left and had died and took all their wonderful stories about what God miraculously did in their lives to the grave. And I don't want to do that. I want to give Him glory. I want to put it in a journal, and I want people to see. And I believe that that God is going to write that book through me. I think His Spirit is going to write that book, and to give credit where credit was due, because I want to mention people on the way that just their first names, and of course we have to change names due to privacy and things like that. So I'm just going to give people credit where credit was due along the way in the last 2 years, people helping me. But my sister, she's a biggie. Her life, I think, has changed, with the fact that I had given her my Bible when I first started. I had a really awesome Bible, and I crocheted around it and gave it to her. And so I'm hoping she's using it, and she's reading it, and she's depending on it. And so next Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, I will be in the big city. I have to get my glasses for my eyes and my eyes checked before I leave to Montana, and order a couple of pair of glasses. And then I have to rush back to here, about 65 miles, and go to the meeting with the sons, because I have to be there when I'm going to open two banks, another bank besides the one that I have, and put that money in two banks, because the other bank is stationed in Montana where I'm going. And so one of them is going to be for my business, and the other is going to be for my personal use. And so I'm going to separate the two of them. So, but the other one is just it's a federal credit bank that is personally owned by stock buyers. And so I'm going to just put all the money in there, get some things done that I need to get done. Then I'm going to pay for my storage. I have to pay for the U-Haul. I guess budget U-Haul is a lot cheaper than U-Haul. I was checking on the prices. I'm sure glad God put that on my mind to do that. So I'm going to take budget U-Haul, and it takes about $500 just to rent it. It's going to take about $500, $600 for gas on the way. And if I do a towing, I don't know how much that to tow my van. And speaking of the van, talk to you about my van. My van is 104 miles on it. It's a 2004 Chevy Ventura, and it has, again, 102,000 miles. 102,000 miles on it, and it works great. I'm going to get the window replaced, which is going to cost me about $450. The windshield was cracked when I bought it, and it just, over the years, in the last 2 years, it's just cracked with the snow and everything, and it's just gone all the way across, and I don't believe that Montana is going to allow that. South Dakota, nobody stopped me for it, but I'm just going to get it replaced if nobody buys it. But I'm also going to get the oil changed and get it checked at Tri-State to see if there's anything in there that I need to do with that 800 miles. I think I'm going to tow it. If nobody buys it, I would like to get $4,000 for it. That way, when I get to Montana, I can invest in a small car to get me around there. But if I could, I would love to sell it after I get it all fixed up. And when I took it to borrow off of it, they were going to give me $4,000 for it, because that's what they felt it was worth in the condition that it was in. So I'm thrilled about that. So if you are interested in a family van, I'm going to use it the following weekend not this weekend, but the following weekend, to help my son move, and then I will use it to take my stuff back up to the city into the storage, and then I'm done with it come the 1st. For the 28th, I'll be done with it. So I'm going to rent a U-Haul then and get in and go. So both the boys will be gone after this following weekend, like they are today. They're gone getting groceries, so I thought I'd hurry up and get a video done while they're off and about. And it gives me a little time to do a video. So after that happens, I'm going to have a week in this house by myself. And so I just want to bless the house and bless the people that come in there. And I just want to get my mind ready to head to Montana. So in the meantime, I have to also, this next Friday when we get paid and it's settle into different banks, I want to do an offering to my mentor who has led me to Joan Hunter, and I want to take her to my orientation with me. That's going to be a week in the week of April at Tomball, Texas. And so I am going to, because she's a senior, I get to get the senior discount. And so I was looking at airline flights with that. And so I'm going to get that all taken care of, so I don't have to worry about that once I get there. And the bank that she has me going into is the same bank in South Dakota that it is up where I'm going. And so she found a person who, the apartment came open. It's where I want to be, but I believe that God's going to give me a home of my own, and how he's going to do that, I don't know. But he has most certainly paid me $1,000 every month for focusing on the healing ministry like he promised me 20 months ago. And I'll tell you, I have had to live by faith in those 20 months. And a lot of people came through that understood this walk of mine, especially my sons and my girlfriend. Her name was Amy. And when I started teaching the power of blessing, that's when the money started coming in. So my base of my ministry of Unigore Gateway Healing Ministry is power of blessing, and also Joan Hunter. Those are my foundations that I stand on. So I'm learning how to bless, learning how in the midst of tribulation and blessing my enemies. There's a supernatural reason why he asked us to do that. So if you watch Jesus walk, I mean, he even said on the cross, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." He left us with a blessing, because there are things that I most certainly don't know that I'm doing. And so I'm glad that he has that mercy and grace. It doesn't mean, however, that I take advantage of that and do things I know that I'm not supposed to do. In the process, I will have, after the boys are gone this following week, I will have one more week to clean the house, get the house ready by myself. They'll both be gone, and I'll clean out the cupboards and clean out whatever needs to be done, because if I was moving in, I would like somebody to do that for me. So I'm going to bless that young lady by cleaning everything up that needs to be done, in case somebody forgot something or somebody needed something. And so we don't have that much here. The furniture, of course, stays. She was living in the gal that's taking it over was living in an RV, and it's going to be in the middle of winter, so I'm just thrilled to death that she's getting this, because it has a bed already in it, 2 couches, a big, huge screen TV, 50 by 70 inch screen TV that we also came with a package deal in this city block, and the garage and everything. The funny thing about it is when you start to bless people and you see the power of blessing, God shows you immediately the positive things about it instead of looking at how that all unfolded. You know, Satan wants you to, when something unfolds that you don't plan on, or that is not, it's done through tribulation or something like that, he when you're blessing people, he immediately takes and trains your mind to see what's positive in the whole process. And he did pay me $1,000 for the last 20 months. And each of the shares of the sons that give me that $10,000, I will not have to pay taxes on that, which is wonderful and awesome and great. But it also gives me time. I sat down and spent a whole day doing my budget, the 10% tithing, 10% savings, and 10% or 60% needs, and 20% wants. Now those wants, you know, part of that, a lot of that is in Joan Hunter's. And so when all of that is done and everything that I have to pay for is done, and everything that in this whole process is finished, the plane ticket going there, the U-Haul, all the storage fees, everything, when it's all done and said, I will have about $8,000 for rent, $1,066 a month for my food, for my non-food, for my gas, for my car, I just did a budget all the way through, and I just lifted it up to God and asked him to bless it. And because I picked up this budget from the 700 Club, it has been blessed. I mean, it has taken a long time for me to get to where I'm at, but in stages he would give me clumps and clumps of money. And when I picked up this power of blessing, like I had told in my last videos, there's just miracle after miracle, and I believe that it's going to get huger and huger and huger. The thing that I wished that had happened, if I had to wish for something to happen, I wish that my future husband had come along, and during this process, this last stage of it, then I would have somebody to help me move. And then, you know, on top of everything else, and that still may happen, I don't know. I just left that to God. I just leave it to him, just like I left my sons to God, and I pray blessings over them, and whatever God's will is God's will. So the realtor that we had that gave us the Sunbeam deep fat fryer, and she gave us a bunch of groceries. The boys had taken her off the last week, had her sign off the contract, and then they turned around and sold it. From when it was 109, we put it down to 99, and that sat on that for quite some time. But where we're at in this area, the market value, it was probably a little too high. I have to agree with my youngest son, and so through the process of pressure, we finally just took her off of it and sold it for $8,000, and within 24 hours we had a buyer, and he met our price range. So it also took off $7,000 of the realtor, which we would have had to pay had we kept. I wanted to keep her at 90, so that I still would have gotten what I had gotten, but that didn't go over. So, but in reality, in all God's hand in this, if you look at it in his point of view, you will see that I don't have to pay taxes on any of that money. So he worked it all out. He did pay me $1,000 for the last 20 months. I don't have to pay taxes on either of it, on any of it. So it was actually God's hand was in it, all of it, despite. But through it all, I was blessing my sons. I'm certainly thankful for my ex-husband, who had put all of his time and his effort and his work ethic into this home. This was really a surprise gift for all of us to get us out of debt. And that's what he wanted. That's what his wish would have been. So he did do what he, God did use him. He's even using him still, even though he's passed. That we did get out of debt. So, and that was his way of showing the three of us that he loved us. Is he would do it by giving us gift. He was a giver. His love language was gift giving. and it was usually money. So that was his way of showing us that he loved us, and that's basically what he did. And so I'm just thrilled that that is going on. I just want to honor his memory and bless him as well wherever he's at. And I know he's in heaven because he got salvation before he died. It was the most amazing time those last few months with him when he had gotten cancer. It was the most glorious death I have ever seen, and I knew that he was going to heaven because all that tormenting spirits of people running around with stress, anger, resentment, jealousy, selfishness, all of these things get on a person, and it really makes him look 20 years older. And so when that goes off of a person, I'm sure that somebody has also witnessed this, that once they pass away and their spirit leaves, they look like they're younger because those spirits have no longer, that are not from God, have no vessel to use, and so they lift off of that person, and what they should have looked like and what God intended to look, their face to look like, stress-free, to live a life free, that God is wanting us to do, is to be free. And sometimes spirits can come on from another person, so you really have to bless in the midst of that, in the midst of all of that. So with a motive that is pure and holy, of course, you're not blessing people to get something back. That's not a motive that God agrees with. You're just blessing because God says to, and you want to bring a smile to that person's life. Having said that, be blessed to be a blessing, and thank you for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe on my YouTube. I have like 300 people who have viewed my videos, but like 2 subscribers. It doesn't cost you anything, and nobody knows you when you subscribe, but it does show YouTube that I have people actually subscribing to my YouTube. So friends and family, don't feel free to do that. Feel free to go over to YouTube. You don't have to, nobody knows you, you're just subscribing, showing me that you like what you see. Anyway, be blessed to be a blessing. Thanks for joining me.